8 minutes, one exploding train, one last chance to stop it. A soldier wakes up in a stranger's body, reliving the same moment again and again, each time closer to the truth. The clock is ticking, reality is bending, and one wrong move means total destruction. This is not just a mission, it's a race against time itself. Let's dive into the mind-bending world of source code. The story opens aboard a passenger train racing toward Chicago. Among the crowd, we meet a man who suddenly jolts awake, disoriented, as if he's fallen into the wrong reality. His name, he insists, is Captain Stephen, a U.S. Air Force pilot. But the woman sitting across from him calmly calls him Sean. She says they're traveling together. Stephen tells her she's mistaken. He is not Sean. Things get stranger by the second. A woman spills coffee on his shoe. The girl again calls him Sean. When the ticket inspector arrives, Stephen has no ticket, but the girl produces one and says they boarded together. Passengers stare at him like he's the one who doesn't belong. Trying to clear his head, Stephen walks into the train bathroom and freezes. The face staring back at him in the mirror is not his own. He rushes out, confronts the girl, her name is Christina, and demands answers. She swears she knows him as Sean. Stephen checks his wallet. The ID doesn't show his face. It shows another man's photo. Name, Sean. Profession, school teacher. Before he can make sense of any of it, the train explodes. Everything goes black. Stephen wakes up in a dark, sealed chamber. Monitors glow in front of him. A woman appears on the screen. Her name is Colleen. She tells him the truth. There was a bomb on that train. Everyone is dead, and Stephen must go back inside the final moments to find out who planted it. He will have 8 minutes each time. Stephen protests. This isn't real. He wants out. Colleen resets the system. Stephen wakes up, back on the train. Same seat, same girl, same conversation. But this time, he knows what's coming. He realizes he's trapped in a time loop. He sets his watch. 8 minutes. Moving fast, he searches the restroom and finds what he believes is the bomb. He tries to warn Colleen, but hears nothing. For a moment, he wonders if this is all inside his own head. Back in the car, he begins watching passengers closely. He flashes his military ID, pretends to be law enforcement, demands to inspect phones, and once again, the train explodes. Back in the chamber, Colleen explains the stakes. Hundreds died in that blast, and the bomb isn't the end of it. There is a much larger attack coming. They're using a classified time-based system to identify the bomber before it happens again. Stephen learns he's been in this operation for 2 months. He just doesn't remember it. On the third run, Stephen notices a man exiting the restroom, the same place where he previously found the device. He suspects him. At the next station, Stephen forces Christina off the train for her safety and follows the man. He grabs his bag. A struggle breaks out. Then far down the tracks, the train explodes. The man has no detonator, no device. He wasn't the bomber. And in the chaos, Stephen is knocked onto the tracks. A train barrels toward him. Death again. He wakes up in the chamber, but now it's freezing. The system is malfunctioning. When the monitors finally power on, Colleen is gone. Instead, a man named Head appears, the architect of the technology. Stephen snaps. He wants his life back. He wants out. Head calmly explains, the mission is almost over. Then the truth comes out. Everyone Stephen thinks he's saving is already dead. They are using a system called source code. When a person dies, the brain retains activity for a short window, about 8 minutes of memory. The program allows another mind to enter that moment, experiencing events from the victim's perspective. Stephen isn't traveling through time. He's reliving a dead man's memories, and that man is Sean, a soldier, Stephen's close friend, one of the victims of the train explosion. Stephen's brain has been synchronized with Sean's dying consciousness. They aren't changing the past, only extracting information, but they must finish, because the train bombing was just the first move. The next attack will be catastrophic. Stephen is sent back again. This time, he storms the conductor's cabin, grabs a weapon only to be subdued by an electric shock. Reset. Back in the chamber, he asks to speak with his father. Colleen tells him to stay focused. Her hesitation plants a terrible thought in his mind. Was he ever alive during this mission? On the next loop, Stephen questions Christina directly. She reveals the truth. Captain Stephen died 2 months ago in Afghanistan. His death was public, honored, documented. Medals, obituaries, proof. Stephen shatters. Back in the chamber, he demands the truth. Colleen finally admits it. Stephen's body is gone. Only his brain remains kept alive by machines. The sensations he feels, movement, pain, breath, are neurological echoes. He cannot speak in the real world, he cannot move. They are simply reading his neural signals and converting them into responses. Steven is not in a room. He is in a body that no longer exists. Broken, he begs for release. Head gives him one promise: finish the mission, and this will all end. And so Steven goes back one final time, not just to identify the bomber, but to give meaning to 8 minutes that were never supposed to change, and to a life that technically ended 2 months ago. This is not just a race against time, it's a man fighting for truth inside the memory of the dead. To restore Steven's broken spirit, the team plays a recording of his father. In it, his father speaks about Steven's courage, sacrifice, and love for his country. The words hit him hard. He breaks down, but then makes a final decision. Even if it's only once more, he will finish the mission. Steven is sent back onto the train. This time, he moves with purpose. He sneaks into the conductor's cabin and secures a gun. In the restroom, he carefully disconnects the cell phone wired to the bomb. Then he checks the call log and dials one of the numbers. A passenger's phone rings. He raises the gun, but the man insists he's innocent. Steven calls again. This time, the ringing comes from another phone belonging to a man who has already gotten off the train. That's when the truth clicks. Every loop, there is one man whose ID card mysteriously gets dropped and returned by a boy. That man is the bomber. He intentionally leaves his identity behind so that, after the explosion, everyone will assume he died with the others. Steven jumps off the train and chases him. Later, he finds him back on board and finally reads the name on the pass: Derek Frost. Steven realizes Derek has been deliberately planting his ID to avoid suspicion. When Steven confronts him, Derek shows him something even more horrifying: another bomb inside his car. At that moment, Christina arrives. Derek takes advantage of the distraction. He fires. Both Steven and Christina are hit. Derek escapes. Steven watches, helpless, as Christina dies in front of him. Only then does he realize the truth. He never admitted to himself, somewhere in this impossible loop, he had fallen in love with her. In the distance, the train explodes again. Steven understands what went wrong. The bomb was connected to 2 phones. He disabled one, but Derek triggered the other. Back in the chamber, Steven tells Head and Colleen everything: the bomber's name, the vehicle, the second device. The unit moves immediately. Derek is arrested in the real world. The mission is finally over, but Steven asks for one last thing, one final return to the train. He knows he cannot save the passengers in reality, but inside the simulation, just once, he wants to see them safe, to sit among them, to let them live. Because even after the mission is complete, the man inside him is still searching for peace. News of Derek's arrest spreads fast. The unit celebrates. The success of the source code program is hailed. Head and Colleen receive all the credit. But Steven knows the cost. Colleen comes to him. He hesitates. What if they don't send me back this time? He asks. The job is done. A moment later, she returns with the answer. He will be sent back one last time. But when these 8 minutes end, Steven will never return. This will be his final mission. Steven accepts. He wakes up on the train again. Christina is sitting in front of him. For the first time, he smiles in peace. He offers her coffee. She smiles back. Then, asking for a minute, he walks into the restroom. With practiced precision, he finds the device and disconnects both phones, this time completely disabling the bomb. When he returns, he passes Derek. Derek doesn't recognize him. Steven quietly takes handcuffs from the conductor. Just as before, the boy returns. Derek's dropped ID. In that exact moment, Steven steps forward, shows Derek the bomb phone, locks the cuffs on him, and calls the number. Derek's phone rings. He's exposed. Steven alerts the police, informs them about the second bomb in Derek's car, and throws both phones away, ensuring no detonation is possible. The danger is over. Time is running out. For the last thing he will ever do, Steven uses Derek's phone to call his father. He doesn't reveal who he is. He simply says he's son, Steven's friend. He tells his father that before he died, Steven wanted forgiveness. On the other end of the line, his father's voice breaks. I don't want anything else in this life. I just want my son to come back once and tell me he loves me. Tears fill Steven's eyes. He tells his father to take care of himself and hangs up. He returns to Christina, wanting these final moments to be light. He asks a comedian on the train to make everyone laugh. He wants these 8 minutes to be calm, beautiful. In the real world, Head realizes Steven has re-entered the simulation. He rushes to the control room, but the door is locked. Colleen stands inside. Head shouts for her to stop. She doesn't. Steven gave everything for us, she says. Now he deserves peace. She shuts down life support. Before security can break in, Steven's brain activity flatlines. Colleen keeps her promise. She sets him free. But something impossible happens. Inside the train, the 8 minutes end, and nothing resets. There is no explosion. The simulation does not collapse. Steven and Christina step off the train alive. Then Steven receives a message from Colleen. If my calculations are right, you'll soon see the news. The bomb was defused. The bomber arrested. Everyone survived. We did this together. Steven looks at the reports. Reality has changed. The train never exploded. No one died. The camera returns to Steven's lifeless body in the real world. There, he is gone. But in another reality, another timeline, Steven is alive. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate you spending time here. If you found this helpful, please like the video and subscribe for more every week. Turn on notifications so you don't miss the next upload.